Once upon a time, there lived a princess named Snow White. She was beautiful and her skin was as white as snow. Snow White's stepmother, the queen, was very jealous of Snow White. The queen did not love her, but Snow White never complained. She only dreamt of a handsome prince who would come one day and take her away with him. The queen asked her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" Every day, the mirror had the same reply. "You are the fairest," he told her, and the queen was content for another day. But as Snow White grew older, she also grew more beautiful. And one day, the magic mirror told the queen that Snow White was the fairest of all. In a jealous rage, the queen called her royal huntsman and said, "Take Snow White far into the forest and kill her." But the hunter was a loyal man. He said to the princess, "I cannot kill you. You must run away and hide from the queen." Snow White ran away from the castle into the woods. At last she came to a cottage. "Who lives here?" Snow White wondered. Then she heard voices singing in the distance. The 7 dwarfs who lived in the cottage were coming home from a hard day of work. They invited Snow White to share their supper. Snow White felt so safe with the dwarfs that she decided to stay with them. But the evil queen soon found out that Snow White was still alive. She would have to take matters into her own wicked hands. She took an apple and dipped it into poison. One bite of this poisoned apple and Snow White will close her eyes forever, she cackled. When the dwarfs were away at work, the queen, disguised as an old woman, appeared at Snow White's window. "Hello, dearie," she said. "Taste one of my delicious apples." Then she held the poisoned apple to Snow White. The birds tried to warn Snow White away from the poisoned fruit. They fluttered and flew around the hag, trying to make her drop the apple. But Snow White did not listen and took a bite of the apple. She fell down on the floor instantly. When the 7 dwarfs returned to the cottage, they found Snow White lying lifeless on the floor. The sad little dwarfs built a bed of gold and glass for their beloved Snow White. They kept watch over her day and night, but she did not wake up. Then, one day, a handsome prince rode into the forest. When he saw Snow White, he knelt down and kissed Snow White tenderly. His kiss awakened her. Snow White and the prince rode off to his kingdom, where they lived happily ever after.